Welcome to War Thunder with Subdude. How y'all doing? Well, I have been spending a good portion of the day trying to get into a match that's worth flying. The problem is there's so many FJ-4Bs flying, and especially FJ-4Bs by, I would assume, people that have absolutely no idea how to fly the plane, because they can't do anything. I've been sitting back. I mean, anytime there's more than four F4, FJ4s, it's like not even worth getting into the match. Not that any of the matches are worth getting into anyhow. They're all garbage matches. They have absolutely no value, as far as what the plane was designed for. This is the ground attack version of the FJ-4. This is the one that carried heavy ordnance to land it on enemy ground forces. Now, in Air Realistic, there's only a couple of maps that have decent ground targets to go after. And so far today, I've gotten every map but that one, or those two, or however few there are. And that's because Gaijin does the same old formula. And that formula is put a base down on one side, put a base down on the other. Doesn't matter where they are, as long as you put all the ground targets directly between the two air bases, which is nothing more than pure, unadulterated sloth. That is Gaijin not giving a tinker's damn about gameplay in Air Realistic. And for that matter, probably Air Simulator too. But I don't know. I don't play Simulator, not because I don't want to, but because I'm no good at it. But as far as ground targets go, in almost all of the maps, they're absolutely worthless. And that's a sad thing. That's an extremely sad thing, that Gaijin is willing to just not give a darn. They're really at the point of, we don't care about air battles anymore. We are more interested in getting that money from the new tank we're building at $50 a pop, or $60 a pop, or $75 a pop, or whatever. Because there's so many Russians out there that really want to drive an American Abrams. The problem, Gaijin, is you. You're not thinking in advance of what you were doing. This thing started out as an aviation game with the hopes of building a ground aspect and a naval aspect. But you completely abandoned the air. Even though you give us brand new shinies, FJ-4B, FJ-4B with air-to-ground rockets, missiles, whatever you want to call them. The bullpup missile is nothing more than a half step forward from an unguided towards a guided missile, which means it's semi-guidable, just not that well. You know, it's a shame too. You've got such good planes, so many good planes. You just don't give a dang about what you're doing as far as missions go. The maps can be fine as long as you don't make us fight on those small maps with late Tier 5 aircraft. Early Tier 5, some of the smaller maps are okay, but nothing in the small map category. If you don't understand what that means, the map of Korea that you have is probably the absolute smallest I would consider a jet map of any type. And to put the late Tier 5 planes on there is just an atrocity. Now, I'm sure that nobody at Gaijin will care, because if you cared at Gaijin, you'd do something about this. Ultimate History Spain. Excellent map, really, where you're only using about 30% of it. You've got ships on it, you've got boats on it, you've got tanks on it, you got pillboxes on it, you got artillery, AAA, yada 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 yada. You've got AI aircraft, AI bombers, AI fighters. Excellent map. Excellent map. Although now the Americans are fighting against American B-29s, which I think is irony much. Thank you, Gaijin. Come on, pull your head out. The air-to-ground missiles that we have, they look lovely on the plane. But it just isn't worth flying these planes. Well, it's been, I don't know, several mission offerings since I've actually had a decent mission to fly on, and it just isn't worth playing jets at this moment in this time, because Gaijin is not giving a damn about what they're doing. Now, some people are going to say, oh, you got to drive tanks. I'm not driving tanks. I think tanks, they've screwed tanks up so badly that it isn't worth playing tanks anymore. And as for ships, please, not even vaguely interested in ships, because they're using nothing but arcade style maps. Now I realize, oh, we're in pre-beta testing. Well, yeah, okay, whatever. Or open beta or closed beta or whatever they're calling it. You know, the flavor du jour. But the problem is they're not spending any time in mission development. They're putting it all into shiny. Mission development would be critical to making the game fun. If you have no reason other than going up and air slaughtering each other, I mean, if you're good at slaughtering people, great, whatever. If you have absolutely no interest in going into the gladiatorial slaughter events, then there's no reason to fly in Air Realistic, because this is all you've left us, especially at high tier. air gladiatorial slaughterfest. There's no logic behind the missions anymore. You've got some great maps. The Advance to the Rhine, the Cologne map. Awesome map. Horrible placement of the airfields. And it's not big enough. And as long as it's not going to be big enough, it's not worth flying with jets. So, how are people going to upgrade and move forward with their jets in realistic? The answer is they can't. They have to fly arcade, which, I'm sorry, I'm not going to play arcade. It's been a long time since I played arcade. I don't particularly care for the mode. I'm not saying it's a bad mode. I'm just saying I don't particularly care for it. Matter of fact, I play it about once every 6 months just to prove to myself that I still don't like it. But whether I like it and I don't like it and you do like it has absolutely nothing to do with the price of tea in China. I'm not interested. I'm not caring about flying in arcade. Excuse me for a moment. Alright, I'm back. Cat was just complaining and wanting to go out, so you have to be nice to the cat and let him out. Otherwise he scratches at you with his nice long claws. Back to where we were. Mission development. I would love to be able to fly a lot of these planes in the missions on the maps that we have. The Cologne map. Let's go back there for a minute. You've got ground targets galore, including rail targets, which I think is absolutely spectacular. Finally, they started thinking about putting in railways. Wow. And they gave us a bunch of rail cars. Personal best, 21 in one strike. Not bad. I think that was like 6 500-pounders. But that's besides the point. The point of that mission and map is the fact that the airfields are not that far away and they are directly across from each other over the ground targets, which makes it nearly impossible to get in there and do ground attack. Thanks, Gaijin. Start thinking. Use the big head. It makes it very difficult to do what the plane is designed to do. Now, the FJ-4B with the missiles. This plane is going to be a bloody nightmare when it comes to players who they might be up to tier 3 and they've made it. They got themselves an FJ-4B VMF 232 and they've never flown a jet yet. Now, there's a lot of players that are going to have the jet. Hey, there might even be some brandy spanking new players who just said, ooh, I can get a jet? And they plunked down the money. $56 and you got it. It's yours. They'd be better off spending their time flying the Martlet to learn how to fly in the first place, but they've got a jet now. And they're in the big leagues. Yeah, okay, folks. Number one, you have absolutely no idea what you're doing yet. You'll figure it out eventually, or you'll get frustrated and quit. They did the same thing with tanks. A long time ago, Gaijin said, oh, there's never going to be a tier 5 anything for, no, we're not going to make it so that anyone can just get a tier 5 and get into the game. And then tier 6 came out, and yeah, they made tier 5 premiums, where people could just buy a tier 5 premium and play a tier 5 tank. Well, we don't have tier 6 jets yet, but we have a tier 5 jet that you can pick up for $56. Now, yeah, they're calling it an event award, but it's not. It's you can buy this premium without the premium, and you have to grind through all the upgrades, but you can buy this jet and be in jet playing even though you're a tier 1 noob. And I don't say that to be derogatory to somebody who's in tier 1 and just starting in the game. I'm saying that because that's what Gaijin's thinking. And if you don't think the rest of the players who have sat there and ground their way up into tier 5 are thinking, if you don't think that's what's going through their head, you, my friend, really aren't thinking. I'm not saying that you shouldn't get this plane. I'm not saying that you won't figure out how to do it and be great at it. I'm just saying there's a lot of people that have gone before you, and they are not pleased with the fact that you can spend $56 and you got this plane. So, where do we go from here? I'll tell you where I go. Back to tier 2, tier 3 aircraft, because it isn't worth flying jets at this time. Because Gaijin still will not do its job. Now, we've got a couple new maps coming out. One of them appears to be a ground battle map, which is going to probably have an air component, which is going to be absolutely worthless to air realistic players. And an air map, which is going to be Vietnam. Please note my Southeast Asia camo scheme. But still, what's the map setup going to be like? Is there going to be room for ground attack to take place without fighters being all over the top of you all the time? Because this is the problem that we're seeing right now. Gaijin has just completely ignored mission creation. They've made it, nothing more than gladiator team deathmatch. And that's what needs to change. This Subdude signing off. I really wish I could get a good game in so I could give you some air realistic with the FJ-4B, either one. But until Gaijin gets its head out of its butt and starts doing some mission creation, there just isn't going to be any. I mean, I've got 8 free repairs on the FJ-4B, and I've got 10 free repairs on the FJ-4B VMF 232. So there really isn't any reason for me to fly any of them. Hell, I haven't even flown my F-86 F2. I've got 10 free repairs on that plane still. And the reason I've got 10 free repairs is because, again, there is no mission out there worth my time. This Subdude signing off. Y'all have a pleasant today, a better tomorrow, and we will catch you in the skies in Air Realistic, probably around Tier 2, Tier 3. Bye-bye, folks.